Today's a very, 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 like I mentioned right after davening, it's a very emotional day. I think, besides Chazi, none of you guys grew up here. So, you know, this name, Zecharya Baumol, Hashem Yikom Damo, Alav Shalom, was a name that is very much part of our youth. It's part of our upbringing here. And as a kid, when you're like, I was like 9, 10 years old, and what are you exposed to when you're at 9, 10 years old? So whatever the current, the culture is, whatever the pop culture is. But by us, we were exposed to very heavy things at a young age already. Like I clearly remember going to rallies, not just political rallies. I mean, going to rallies, going to all these tkasim. How do you say tekes? Assemblies, ceremonies, gatherings with the families of the shvuim v'nedarim. Of the families of those that were at the MIAs. I remember traveling as a kid, just that's what I wanted to do. Alone on a bus. I went to Ramat Aviv one time, probably with a friend, and went to a gathering trying to raise the awareness for Ron Arad, when there was still some kind of sliver of hope. I mean, hopefully there still is, but then it was closer in time, and I remember going up to his mother, I think her name was Batya Arad, and just looking at people that their children, I remember I was like 11 years old, I'm looking at these parents that not only did they lose their children, they don't even know they have no idea where their children are. And it left such an impression on me. So also Zecharya Baumol's father, Yonah Baumol, I'll never forget him. Because anyone that grew up here, he passed away already 10 years ago. There was also another chayal that fell in that same battle, that he was from Ranana. His family lived right next to me. His last name was Fink, Yosef Fink. His body was returned somehow a while ago. But I remember seeing his father's face every single Shabbos. And the energy and this inyan of a brokenness in Am Yisrael you grew up with, it's in front of you. So yesterday I was driving in the car. I had an appointment in Yerushalayim at about 6, so I left around 5, and then I turned on the radio, and the guy in the radio says, okay, in 4 minutes we have some crazy news, breaking news that the IDF is allowing to be published, that's going to be the end of a very long and painful parsha in Am Yisrael. So it's like, those 4 minutes we're in eternity. It was 5:06, it's like in 4 minutes, 5:10, 4 minutes of eternity. Like what could he say? Like I didn't even think about that. I thought maybe I thought maybe you're gonna go big, what would be big? Like the end of a painful parsha in Am Yisrael? Yeah, the Golos. Yeah, that's the end of a painful parsha.
It's going to come on today. It's going to come on our channel.
I don't care where it comes from. I don't care where it comes from. Right? Whatever. Then at 5:10, they stop. They were talking to one of the politicians. Stop, and they said it. They said the names, and all that. For a few seconds, I felt like something was restored. I can't explain it exactly. I feel like I and Am Yisrael went back to somewhere, and I've been trying to understand what that place is. What is that place we went back to when we heard about this? And at that moment, when you heard about this, I was waiting for the first politician to say, "Oh, Bibi waited till right now." I'm sure they did say that afterwards. I don't know. You probably heard that.
They asked him on the news.
Huh?
This morning they asked for the interview and asked him on the news.
Did you wait for? Oh my God. Anyway, for the few minutes that I didn't think like that and didn't entertain that thought, it was this thing of like, what is this feeling again? Like it's so painful, but it's so emet. It's so true. This place of course it's painful that, we're bringing back someone that's one of our boys for 37 years. Then they say they said they found a few articles of his that were with him, right?
Wow.
They found his tzitzis. They brought home his tzitzis. And I got even more I can't explain it. I can't explain it. So I was telling some of the Chavri yesterday that there's a journalist that I have some kesher to him through an family of his. He's very big in Israel today. His name's Amit Segal. I don't know if you've heard of him, the American Chavri. But any Israeli knows him. He's one of the most well-known journalists. He's on Channel 12, what was Channel 2, and he's a yarmulke. And he posted something that really explained to me what I'm feeling, which is he posted the words "Zar lo yavin zot," which made me understand what I was feeling. Zar lo yavin zot means that what you're feeling, what he's talking to the typical Israeli, the Jew that's living in, not Israeli, because an Arab Israeli felt nothing about yesterday. So it's not their fault. What are they supposed to feel about 37 years later, whatever. Zar lo yavin, a foreigner can't understand this. You can't understand this. And to me, it was the experience of living here that you cannot understand. And for a few minutes, it was like, it used to be we were always notified of these amazing heroic things we used to do all the time. There was not on the level of Antebi, but there were a lot of Antebis, right? There were these crazy mivtzaim. When I was a kid, one morning I woke up watching the news, tons of Ethiopian Jews suddenly show up in Israel. An overnight operation coming out of Addis Ababa, right? We were always doing these things. The last 10 years, whenever something slightly good happens, it's on the price of releasing a bunch of terrorists. Meaning there was never just this pure wow, Am Yisrael, oh my God, look who we are. And everyone's been hush-hush about this operation because apparently this was really this is really big. They're sharing a little bit. The Russians were involved in this and that, but as far as we know, we didn't have to we didn't have to set out any murderers or give up anything to have the Levaya today of Zecharya Baumol. So I felt like it was a day to reconnect to what it is that makes us. So what is this inyan of feeling like only a Yid, and only a Yid that lives in Eretz Yisrael can really feel what we're feeling right now. Because it's a very, very big day. It's a huge day. And I just saw he's being buried tonight, 7 p.m. in Har Herzl. It's a very, very emotional day. Very, very emotional. I know I'm not doing justice to my feelings, but I wanted to just learn for a little bit of time that we have about this concept of Am Yisrael, what makes us special, even though we all know this. And it's something that can never get old learning about and tapping into. The piece we have in front of us is from Rabbi Melamed. And I don't remember if it's the Rav Melamed, one that wrote the Halachas for him, or his brother. I'm not sure which one, but what he's saying over here is kind of a more modern way of explaining how the Baal Tanya speaks about the uniqueness of the Jewish soul. But it's in a much more, in a way that's very different. And I think we can get a lot out of it. Yichud Am Yisrael. What makes us Am Yisrael? Who are we? And why do we forget this all the time? How did we get to a place that we've really forgotten about just this like very simple things because of this political correctness in the world that is like continues to be the avodah zarah of this generation. So miyesodot ha'emunah לדעת ולהאמין שעם ישראל הוא עם סגולה. מיסודות האמונה לדעת כי עם ישראל עם נבדל ושונה ומיוחד במהותו מכל העמים אשר על פני האדמה. From the foundations of faith is to know and believe Am Yisrael is Am Segula. Now what does Am Segula mean?
Treasured, like people that's treasured.
That's the literal translation. The way we take it in a little bit deeper is we're saying, why are we the chosen people? Why are we different? Only because that's what God wanted. Do we understand it? We're spending our lives trying to understand it. Can I really explain it to you? I could give you cute words, but I don't really know. It's God's decision. I'll never get down to the bottom of God's decision making. Am Zgula. Why? You got to bring it to the boss. And also from the foundations of faith is to know that Am Yisrael is separated and different and special in its essence from all other nations which are on the face of the earth. This is already your disqualification card from 2019. How could you say such words? Let's understand. Huh? Let's just understand what it means. We need to understand what it means in order to be able to feel that it's really okay to say such words. ההבדל בין ישראל לעמים הוא לא רק בהשקפת עולמם, באמונתם, בתורתם. The difference between us and the nations of the world is not just a difference of outlook, perception, faith, and Torah. אלא הוא בטבעם. It's in our nature, בעצם מציאותם, in the essence of our reality. בטבע האלוקי הטבוע בהם, in the godly nature that's embedded in us. בנשמה האלוקית שבישראל, in the godly soul that's in Am Yisrael. That's why I said before, like the Baal Tanya's whole concept of nefesh elokit. טבע זה אינו בר שינוי כלל. You can't change this nature. הוא טבוע בישראל בעצמותם. It's embedded in our essence. אי אפשר להסתלק ממנו. ואי אפשר לרכוש אותו. You can't run away from it, and you can't buy it. You can't acquire, לרכוש, like to purchase it. המציאות הטבעית הזאת אינה תלויה בבחירה של האדם ובהחלטתו. This natural reality is not dependent on man's decision-making and choosing. Yisrael le'olam nishar Yisrael. A Jew always remains a Jew. Yisrael shechata Yisraelu. Just like we know that a Jew that thinks he converts to another religion, there's no such concept, no such thing. Now he says like this, יודע אני, כי דברים אלו מעוררים התנגדות חריפה אצל כל מי שאינו מאמין בתורת ישראל. I know that these words arouse a tremendous opposition, חריפה, like a spicy opposition, to all those that simply don't believe in Torah Yisrael. Like there's nothing, he's saying over here, if you don't believe in Torah Yisrael, then I understand that these words are,
hollow and meaningless.
Worse. Provocative, everything, right? I get that. אבל אין מקום להסתיר ולהכחיש את ההכרה הזו, but you can't deny this, and contradict this recognition. הכרה ששותפים לה כל אנשי האמונה. All the people of faith are shutaf. They all share this view. Meaning, what people of faith? כל מי שמאמין בתורת ישראל מוכרח להאמין בבחירת ישראל. Whoever believes in the Torah of Am Yisrael must believe in the Bechir of Am Yisrael. You know, I have certain chevra. I love all my chevra. There's a certain chevra of mine. They're not really in Eretz Yisrael, mainly in America. That they changed one bracha. It's a different sect in Yiddishkeit. They changed one bracha, and this one bracha that they changed is exactly the opposite of this, because they felt that a certain paradigm shift took place in the last 60, 70 years. And you have to go with the flow, go with transition. So listen to how they say the following bracha. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu im kol ha'amim. Asher bachar banu im kol ha'amim. Because for them, their concept of chosenness means something that's not what we're referring to. They don't understand the essence of what it means, the chosenness is. And if they do understand, and yet they still taina that it's about a different era of no superiority. If that's what you think this chose Am Sgula is, then oy ve Hashem Yirachim, and I have like all the love in the world for this chevra, and I have all the rachmanas and compassion on their souls for such a thing too. So here he's saying, Kol mi shema'amin b'Torat Yisrael mukhrach le'amin b'bchirat Yisrael. No such thing as saying I believe in the Torah, but I don't believe in the concept of Am Sgula. There's no such thing. מוכרח להאמין שעם ישראל הוא עם סגולה. היסוד הזה ממלא את כל התורה כולה, and it's this foundation which fills the whole Torah. So he's going to take us on a little journey to understand where this even comes from. This concept of, this is what God wanted. Why? I could come up with 3,000 midrashim. Why? But at the end of the day, that doesn't come close to the real answer. What's the real answer? Very Israeli answer. Lama? Kacha. Lama kacha. And usually we want to, but that's really the origins of that answer is very, 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 very holy. Lama kacha. Hashem, why'd you choose Avram Avinu? What does the Torah tell us about Avram Avinu before Hashem chose him? No, Avram Avinu. What about Avram Avinu himself? What do we know about Avram Avinu before Hashem spoke to him?
Nothing really.
Nothing. What do you mean? He jumped into a friend. Wait. Don't, Midrash, hold on. We have a book. What does the Torah tell us, right? And what does the Torah tell us about Noach? When we first know earlier about Noach? Oh, Ish Tzaddik, Tamim, Ayada. I can understand why God chose to talk to Noach. Why? Because the Torah tells us what a righteous tzaddik is. But when it comes to Avram Avinu, what do I know about what happens before him? Nothing. He's going to show that that's exactly why we say that our origins of being an Am Sgula cannot be based on any human logic. Lama? Kacha. Look what he says. נאמר בתורה, ויאמר השם אל אברהם, לך לך מארצך וממולדתך אל הארץ אשר, מבית אביך, אל הארץ אשר אלך אראה. זהו הדיבור הראשון של השם אל אברהם. It's the first time God speaks to Abraham. He tells him, go do this. Check out, go. I'm going to show you something beautiful. התורה לא מזכירה מקודם שאברהם היה צדיק וירא השם, כמו שהתורה מזכירה אצל נוח. נוח איש צדיק, תבין היה בדורותיו. Torah doesn't mention that Avram was first a saint, then God spoke to him, like it was by Noah. ואחר כך, מתוך שהוא צדיק, השם מדבר איתו, and only because he's a tzaddik, Hashem speaks to him. אצל אברהם לא נזכר שהיה צדיק. Why? Doesn't the Torah let us know that Avram was first a tzaddik, and then God spoke to him? For this exact point. כדי ללמדנו שהבחירה של השם באברהם לא הייתה בגלל מעשיו. To teach us that I know you want to run to the Midrashim and say it's because he jumped into a furnace of fire. But the Torah doesn't tell us that. It's because we don't want to create a situation that we understand why God chose Avram Avinu. הבחירה הייתה בלתי תלויה במעשיו אלא בהחלטה אלוקית. It wasn't dependent. The chosenness wasn't dependent on man's good deeds or bad deeds. אלא בהחלטה אלוקית. It was a godly decision. וממילא, גם אם המעשים ישתנו, הבחירה לא תשתנה. And therefore, even if the actions change, the chosenness will never change. וכן לשון ברכת התורה. This is what we say when we go up to the Torah. אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. God chose us from all nations and then also gave us his Torah. Now look what he says here. This is a very important diuk, and think about this next time you get an aliyah, or every single morning when you say Birkas HaTorah. לא אומרים שנתן לנו את תורתו ובחר בנו בשל כך. He doesn't say, look, since he gave us the Torah and then he chose us, אלא בחר בנו מכל העמים, but first he chose us ומתוך כך, and from the fact that he chose us, נתן לנו את תורתו. What's the difference?
Not dependent.
How would the way that he spelled it out here be dependent?
Because if you're learning the Torah, then you become Shayach.
Like what we say with Shema.
Right.
Vaya im Shema.
Right.
Then we get Natat Matar Tabit Matash.
Those are brachas, right? Brachas are klelas.
It's not a bracha. These are he chose us. So we get it.
He said already, it's lo haytam b'bal ma'asav, so it's referring to Avram Avinu, but it applies to this too. It's
Correct.
not anything you did or you
Right.
received, because he chose you, and then because he chose you, he gave you the Torah.
And Doctor, in this context, it cannot be because of anything that we did.
Right.
That's the point.
That's what we say on
It
Yantiv.
wasn't.
Like we say in Yantiv, Ata b'chaytanu mikol ha'amim, ahavta otanu v'ratzita banu. We just say, listen, you chose us, you loved us, and you wanted us. Hopefully you still, we say every Shemona Esrei, say Hashem Elokeinu Malchei Yisrael. Hopefully you still want us. So he continues and he says here, בוודאי שיש קשר בין הסגולה והבחירה האלוקית בישראל ובין קיום התורה. Of course there's a connection between this sgula, like lama kacha, decision, godly decision, and the keeping of the Torah. אין להסתפק בעובדה של אתה בחרתנו. He's saying, you can't just be like, okay, listen, you chose me. So therefore you could say, listen, if this is just like a godly decision, it just means like, whatever. I could do or not do whatever I do or don't do, and I'm leaning on the fact that אתה בחרתנו מכל העמים. Obviously you can't, that's not how we live. אלא גם צריך לקיים את התורה ומצוותיה בכל השלמות. One must keep the Torah and its mitzvahs with all of its entirety. זה פשוט ומובן. That's not the point of this article over here. He says, מה שמצאנו צורך להדגיש, what we do find a need to emphasize, and I'm not sure when this piece was written, but it seems to me that it could have been written last night or this morning. What we did find a need to emphasize, הוא שישראל בטבעם בנשמתם הם עם סגולה. In our nature and in our soul, הם עם סגולה ומעלתם כפולה. They're a chosen people, and their maila, their, how would you say that? Level, I don't know. Their maila is kaful, is doubled. גם בעצם טבעם, the stature is double. Why? גם בעצם טבעם וגם בזה שקיבלו את התורה. Why is it double? Because on the one hand, just mitzad, like my natural Jewish soul, I'm already something else, and God gave me the Torah. That makes me this double treasure. שתי מעלות מחוברות ומאוחדות. These are two levels that are one and connected. Yisrael ve'oraita chadu. We always say this. Am Yisrael, and the fact that we have the Torah, it's all one concept. Now again, so until now, I could ask this now, let me ask this in 3 minutes. I'm going to get back to what I'm going to ask, don't worry, there's no way I can forget it. זהו הסבר לשאלה, this is the explanation to the question, second bottom paragraph. מדוע הקדוש ברוך הוא בורא העולם כולו, בורא כל האדם, נתן תורה דווקא לישראל, ולא לעולם כולו. So the question that arises is what? Then why did God create the whole world? What need is there for the rest of the world? Why did God create every man, but only the Torah he gave to Am Yisrael, not to the rest of the world? Is God cruel? He creates everybody, but he wants, this people to always be like, nah. Was that how Hashem would choose to design the world? מדוע הקדוש ברוך הוא קורא לכל העולם להתיישר על פי התורה? הרי כל העולם הם ברואיו. Why doesn't Hashem call the whole world to straighten themselves and align themselves in accordance with the Torah? The whole world are His creations. והתשובה היא אין מקום להשוואה. The answer is there's no room for comparison. עם ישראל שונה ומיוחד, ומה שמתאים לו לא מתאים לעמים אחרים. So this is going to help unravel this mystery. It says you can't explain this, it's just a fact. Am Yisrael is different and special, and what's suitable for them is not suitable, it's not matim, it doesn't fit other nations. HaTorah האלוקית מתאימה לעם האלוקי. a godly Torah, is suitable, shayach, and fits a godly nation. Where he continues here. יודע אני שיסוד זה מעורר שאלות רבות. I know what you're trying to ignore, or if you're still reading this, what you're, and you don't really buy into this, you probably want to find where I live and shoot me down. מה לדעת התורה תפקידם של שאר העמים? So what's the purpose of other nations in the world? If you don't want to call them godly nations, then what's their purpose? מה היחס שצריך להיות בין ישראל לעמים? What should be the relationship between Israel and the nations of the world? שאלות שמטרידות ומעסיקות ודורשות פתרון. These are very important questions, and they need very definitive answers. They definitely do. And he's not denying the need to answer such questions because they're very relevant. And we've seen the abuse of this teaching. How? We've seen people that don't really understand what this means, but how have they interpreted it in terms of their lifestyle?
I can do whatever I want, I'm special.
And the word goy has become this derogatory word.
Correct. Everything not me is pejorative.
Exactly. Now that is clearly not what he means, and definitely not. It will never ever have that connotation in this one. Bezrat Hashem forever. You know, in Ishbitz, there's one of the Ishbitz Rebbe says that Goyim is Rashi Tevos Gadol Hashem U'Mahulam Me'od. Right? That's pretty. Lo keseder. Right? It's a pretty it's a pretty amazing concept, right? He's saying over here, of course, we need to understand these. We have to figure this out in a beautiful way, in a loving way, not in a way that says, "Oh God, so what's left for these guys?" Right? God forbid. However, we still haven't made it clear to us the foundation of Emunah that he's speaking about over here. It's something that needs to be drilled into us day in, day out, and that's why the morning begins with these brachas. And that's why whenever we receive we read out of the godly gift, we say those godly brachas, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu torato. So he continues and he says like this. You have to just go back to the foundation. What we just laid down, you can't move from this. This is something that is completely muskam, agreed upon by all those with true faith in Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael, Am Sgula. ולשאלות המתעוררות מההנחה הזו, and to the questions that arise from this statement, יש תשובות, there are answers. ועוד חזון למועד, meaning, don't worry, there are answers there. But I think what he's saying is, we're so worried, we're much more worried on trying to answer these questions than to establish what's triggering these questions. Do you hear that? It wasn't always like this. It wasn't always like this. This is mamish.
It's like this. Even I had someone in my house in Shabbos for a whole argument with them because they said Jews aren't special people. I don't get stuck in Jews. It's just as good to give charity to a Christian in Arkansas as it is to like.
Right now, does that sound holy? It could, but it could sound very holy. Meaning, he's saying it could. Not to you. Right. I'm saying.
But it's someone.
It sounds enlightening.
Right.
Like I'm higher. I'm more enlightened because I see everybody as
not happy for who they are. Like who doesn't realize.
It's someone that has no concept of what this, who doesn't really believe.
I'm saying it's not just
in this.
It's very present.
Very present. It wasn't always like this. It's much more in the air today than it was definitely 10 years ago. Definitely, come on, the concept of Jewish pride when you were growing up, mamish, especially when you were growing up, this concept of Jewish pride of like, we were 20 years ago we were in Auschwitz, now we're building a country, but you're not the chosen people. No, there's a concept of chosenness here. We don't fully understand it yet.
Because Judaism has always maintained this exquisite tension between universalism and particularity. And what the current thinking has done is it's elevated above particularism. I would say that's a more developed notion, universalism.
What's the reason, you think? The need to understand, the need for things to make sense to us, I think. That need for logic and rationale to play more of a role than...
The world also has gotten much smaller.
Smaller
In terms of the
Well,
way
smaller
that,
and
in terms of the
connect-
way that we feel connected and interconnected
Nachon.
and exposed.
Nachon.
And so then, if you have this hierarchy, it gets uncomfortable for a lot of people. Think about it that way. And it's not
Yeah.
just between religions, but between social status and economic status and
Gender.
it's all
Everything.
play a part.
Yeah?
And there's also
Yeah.
differences between universalism of nations and universalism of individuals. It comes from sloppy thinking. It comes from a good inside instinct, right? Because we know that ideas of favoritism all throughout Tanakh are problematic. We have a favorite child, and it causes endless problems.
Like your guest, I mean, the root of what he's saying, it comes from sloppy thinking. It comes from a very...
It's an insecurity.
I think it's more of an ignorance towards the depth of what you think you
Or
don't
saying,
believe in.
how could I be special? How could I be more special?
Or what does that mean? What does that even
Or if you
mean?
relate it to like a parent-child relationship, because Rav Kluger talks a little bit about it in the context of that in the world there's a system that Hashem created of mashpia and mekabel. Like there's you're one of in every relationship there that exists. And so in a parent-child relationship in the world today, where parents and children have become flat in a relationship, right? Like we're kind of peers in the world today. The parent what's not understood is that is against nature, and it causes problems inside of the child's mind and heart because they're confused, because they're looking for some kind of mashpia to help them grow up.
Right.
And so I think that this is part of that, and I'm not trying to answer the question, but part of it is we're very insecure with saying, no, in this relationship, in my relationship with you, at any given time you could be mashpia to me, and like whatever that looks like, but you're only playing one of those roles in any given time. And the world's become very uncomfortable saying, no, I'm the professor of this class and I'm giving to you and you're receiving. Or I am the teacher, you are the student. Or I am the parent, you are the child. Or
But
you
not
are
vice versa.
But not vice versa. And so we
Right.
become very uncomfortable because it's not hierarchical. Mashpia and makubel is not necessarily hierarchical. It's just role and function.
Right.
And so I think the world has become confused with that idea that hierarchy is confused with role and function.
Sure, and people are very uncomfortable with hierarchy, but also everything that snacks at it is completely
Out.
Right. Right. So there's also a voice that says, "Listen, if you have real love and want to like invite people to Yerushalayim that aren't from your, if you have real love and affection towards those that aren't chosen, it must mean that you don't understand the concept of chosenness, because then you would be superior. You would not let anyone infiltrate that very special place. But that's also wrong. However, no matter what we say, you feel this most when it's things that are beyond your control. Like, why are we learning this piece right now? Because for a few minutes yesterday, I personally tapped back into something that made me feel again like, what is it that I'm part of? What is it that I'm part of? That no one can take from me, and also I can't explain it to anybody. It's this concept of now what's so horrible is that it took the return of the remains of a 21-year-old Israeli soldier that his father died 10 years ago, his mother's 90. When he saw his siblings go to see Bibi yesterday, he said, "Thank you. These are grandparents." And then they interviewed the sister of one of the other chayalim that still isn't home. There's a chayal named Shlomo Katz, his sister, was interviewed yesterday. And you see already an older woman, a babi. She's waiting for 37 years, and where does this come from? Where does this come from? This concept of feeling so connected to something that's not necessarily your brother or sister, and yet when you're part of the cloud, you're plugged into the segula energy. When you make yourself part of the cloud. So I know everything we said over here was stuff that was, pretty much we know this stuff already. But the point here about Avram Avinu and Noach kind of says it all. What we know about Avram Avinu and why he was chosen, as opposed to why Noach, what we knew about Noach and why he was chosen, we have a new perception, a deeper perception, a deeper relationship now to Birkas HaTorah, Asher Bachar Banu, Mikol Ha'amim, and to be able to say that when you're in the room with with thousands of other people from other nations. That's the chap. Can you say those words when you're around a million people? Are you too nervous to, God forbid? Like, I always feel like the world is waiting for us to be Jews. They're not waiting for us to be non-Jews. You think they're waiting for you to be non-Jewish. The world is waiting for you to figure out what it means to be Jewish.
Even when people, Jews, attempt to assimilate, they think that they've become part of whoever they're trying to.
Yeah,
absorb
who
into.
reminded us of
And
the
they're,
worst?
They're always going to be seen as Jews, whether they.
What was the worst reminder? Yom Shalom.
You were going to ask us a question before.
I kind of slipped it in here already, but I'll just say it out. I'll just say it out right now like
I
this.
just wanted to forget it.
No, I'll say it out like this right now. It kind of related to the last thing I said. How do you say this? How do you think you can share this in the world today? Or is there even a need to share it with the world today? Because I don't think there's a need to share this truth with the world. I think there's a need to share this truth with Jews.
I think it's enough to know that this is the truth.
If you need to go out, exactly, I think that if you need to go out and speak this and let everybody know, it means you're really insecure and you're really uncomfortable and you're not really one with this emet. Now, what's the other question? So how do you share this emet with fellow Jews? That's the real shayla.
You show love and respect to everybody you come encounter with. You have to
Rationale will overpower that, and on a level of a logical emet to them. Be sweet
What's
till
our
forever.
biggest tafkid is being orla l'goyim. That's the ultimate, right?
Mm.
So
It's not I don't know if it's the ultimate. It's
It's
a very important thing. Yeah.
One of the very important things is being orla l'goyim, and so we have to be, like you said, we have to be us first.
Yeah.
Before you stand no chance.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that he said it a little, he touched on it a little bit. There is no such thing as, in the system of, if you go back to Mashpia and Makabel, that the system, if there's nobody to give over to, if there's no one to give to, you're no longer Mashpia. Because it requires that tension relationship. And so if part of our purpose in this world is Or L'Goyim, that means that we're being Mashpia, the Or of Hashem, into the world. That if that's our purpose, we need them as much as they need us to fulfill our purpose in life. That they are chosen to be receivers, and we are chosen to be.
But I'm talking about a level before that. The level.
Or L'Goyim is like giving tzedakah. You're not gonna give all your money to tzedakah, otherwise you're gonna have no money for food.
One way.
Meaning
But
you have to.
you
No.
have to first take
That's
care
what
of yourself.
that's what I'm focusing on. I'm
Everyone
saying.
focuses on Or L'Goyim, but then meanwhile they're assimilated and they're not keeping Torah and their grandchildren aren't Jewish.
I
In
think-
order to be Or L'Goyim, how can we fulfill individually?
I think the answer.
No, I think that. But what
I think that the answer is clear, guys.
Yeah.
I think that the answer. I'm just setting it up so I could share what I think. What the answer is very simple. If your soul's not on fire for Hashem, you'll come to all the rational conclusions that can lead you to misguided concepts of chosenness all the time. Meaning, like, everything we're doing is really to bring us to the deepest recognition of what it means to stand before Hashem as a Jew. The whole thing. Once I have that recognition, and once that's a reality in my life, more and more every day, then I don't have to worry so much about how do I give these things over, everything, because I give it over by me being me.
Becomes who you are.
Yeah.
Benny and I
Right.
saw a beautiful
Right.
piece from Rabbi Nachman, talking about what's the reason, why is the reality of our situation that we're surrounded by enemies? Surrounded.
Yeah.
And it was very clear, according to his teaching, it was in order to keep us, to protect us as Jews. Because by being surrounded, you're always being reminded of the fact that it's just us. All we've got are each other, and it keeps you much more connected to the truth. Chabal that it takes that, but we see that, when did we come together here in Israel as an Am? We come together most strongly after.
Rabbi Natan also said that the goal is to get to those places without the need for such things. So, anyway, in the schut of this very big neshama, we have no idea of just the thought of that he came home to a few days ago in a plane, and his tzitzis were with him. And it's a very startling thought and vision. That should arouse the soul of the nation to want to connect more to understand, or to just not understand, but to connect more to the simple, basic concept of that we are an Am Zgula, and that should bring simchas to, should bring good news, and it should also open gates that we couldn't even imagine for Achdus amongst us, especially in this I'm very scared this week, very dangerous week, election week. It's a very dangerous week, spiritually speaking. Nothing to do with the candidates, has to do with just the... We didn't come back after Auschwitz to come back here and act like this the way we are now. It's not why we came here. So we gotta wake up. We gotta wake up.
We're getting our Christmas this week.